You promised a new life, light years away. Since we wrecked the old world, you found a new one to break. You said, hey, people, come up to space. Together we'll build up one hell of a place. All of it lies, all of it smoke. Man, this mission looks like a fool's rush for gold. Now you say to comply and do as we're told. Just like a mission control. You think you got answers, you think that we got none. You think you can change us from your place by the sun, while we take the trash out, while we fix the lights. Well, tell me now, spaceman, how do you see at night? All of your lies and all of your smoke don't add up to the price of the shit that you sold. Now you think you can try to force us to go. You might wanna leave us alone, 'cause this is now where we belong. Mars is the place we call home. So get fucked, you mission control.
So that was amazing. Both pieces, so good. I just have to ask you a question, though. What's up with you in space?
That's a funny question. I loved space when I was a kid. I wanted to go to space when I was a kid, and I got very lucky in being able to work in space. But I will say that science fiction, just in general, is a lot of fun to do because it's really just dramatic. Yeah. It's just drama, and we're just trying to be emotional. All of the music that is done for the show is really based in emotions, and I think that really goes for all those things.
The reason I would ask that, actually, because as I was watching the clip, you really kind of nail that feeling of isolation. Like, I think you really capture that thing, that's because space is you can't hear sound in space. So I feel like you kind of get that in your, like, just tell me your thought process a little bit and when you're...
Well, the thing about this show is it's an alt history show at its core.
Right.
So if you haven't seen the show, the premise of the show is it starts in season 1, it's 1969, and someone's landing on the moon, but it's Russia. And so then what would have happened if those events were what actually happened? And so by the time we get to like 2012, we live on Mars.
Yeah.
Which is, kind of cool.
Super cool.
So the original part of that starts the show, it's almost Copeland-esque, but because it's an alt history thing, it sort of turns in on itself, and then it sort of becomes you take the same sort of melody, and it becomes very like there's a lot of melancholy to it, and it feels like striving to like an unreachable point, and so it works in the sense of space, and you're always reaching for the unreachable point. And then it also works in the sense of this is a world we didn't get.
Right.
There's a human factor that we always try to get to as well, right? Like in all of these shows, all the science fiction-y type shows, but this show in particular, because it is this alt history, and we're really sort of trying to dial in on the human factor of the whole thing. Like what happens when people make other decisions and people make, there's one small decision was made or wasn't made, and then we end up with an entirely different world that we live in. And it's really important, I think, for us to really sort of dial in on that.
So do those conversations, I'm assuming they do, come up in your collaborative process? Like, how nerdy do you get?
I mean, I don't think
I love that about you, Paul.
I think that there are conversations about it, and then there are the things that are internal, right? And that's where I think the nerd really comes out in, certainly for me when I'm sitting there by myself, but I know for Paul and the way we've talked about it is really, again, it's about the human part of it. And that's where where the idea of this melancholy nature of the music comes from.
So how, it's actually, because, there's a song and a score that we both saw, both beautiful. Can you talk a little bit about the difference between your collaborative, like how you collaborate on?
Well, it's interesting. I mean, certainly the song, we just sort of sat in a room and it
what's your, can you give us, because they don't know, I know, because I've been friends with you forever, but what's your history of collaborating?
Well, we've been friends for many, many, many years. And so we both came up in bands, and our bands kind of came out around the same time. I'm in a band called Matchbox 20. Jeff's in a band called Tonic, and so we sort of came up together. For All Mankind was really the first, like, real project that we kind of dove into together on this.
Yeah.
And we had never sat and written a song before. Like our collaborative process was very much based in score, and Jeff is way more, experienced in that world than I was, especially when I started on this show. And so the collaborative process, sort of, at first was very much me going like, "Am I doing this right?"
Yeah.
kind of thing. And then as I had to ask that question less.
Yeah.
It sort of became a little bit more of a back and forth. But songwriting we had never really sat and written a song together. And when this opportunity came up, we were just like, oh, this is great. But the only thing is, it has to be from the perspective of someone who lives on Mars.
So did you listen to a lot of Radiohead?
Totally. Well, but the thing, it becomes about, with songwriting and with any kind of writing, it really is, you just got to get to what is the emotion of it. And so in this particular case, like this sort of, our mission was to, it was a protest song written by one of the characters. The version that we did with Jessica singing, which we were so lucky to have Jessica come in and sing it.
Gorgeous.
Was sort of our version of saying, well, the character that sings this little folk song in the show, well, somehow that song made it off Mars, and now it's back on Earth, and this amazing artist named Jessica Rotter cut it, and so now it's this version, and it plays in the end credits. But where was I on that? Oh yeah, so you get to the heart of like, what is this about? Well, this guy, this character, feels oppressed, and he needs to express that in some way. So he's expressing it through this sort of protest song, and that's an easy thing to latch onto. Yeah. Everybody can kind of go, well, I know what that feels like. So I just have to now put myself into that character's position, which is, it's almost like just window dressing at that point, because you know what the emotion is, and that's really what counts.
And there's versions of the song, right? You're telling me you have, yeah.
Well, I mean, there's the version that is actually performed in the show, one of the scenes in the middle, where the actor got to, we had to learn how to play guitar, and they played it, and he sang it, and it sounded pretty good. I would say pretty good is pretty good. Like it's very believable, right? It's believable that there's this janitor, because he's a janitor and he's sitting there it's like a documentary, right? They're doing a documentary, and he's singing the song, and he's singing about being oppressed on Mars and wanting to be, wanting people to hear what he's saying. And then we thought about doing the second version. So the second version plays at the end of the episode as a sort of, like a sort of an encore of the song.
It's weird being meta. That's very like it.
Yeah, it is. It's funny because the filmmakers don't know we had that in mind.
No, it's like everything. You give yourself little sort of things that you can work with to get you to where you want to go, and so, whatever that is, whatever you need it to be is what will work.
It's gorgeous. Thank you so much for being here. I feel so privileged that we got to see this. So please give it up for Jeff and Paul. This is so much fun. Thank you.